I am so proud of myself. I actually woke up at 5 a.m. like I planned, and I got so much done.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I woke up at 3, but
Oh.
it must have been nice to have those few extra hours, you know? You
Well-
well rested?
I mean, I stayed up so late doing laundry. I had so much laundry to do. It's insane.
What time did you stay up till?
It was like 10 o'clock.
Oh, that is late. I stayed up at 11, so,
Mm.
and then woke up at 3.
Sure.
So, you know.
Well, hey, look at this really cute
Okay.
activity that I was planning to do it in my classroom. Look at all this.
Oh, that looks really expensive. How much money did you spend on that?
I mean, I already had the stuff.
Oh.
Like, I already had all the stuff. I just had to put it up.
It's cute.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I can never come up with activities like that.
How did your kids do on that math test? I mean, mine totally rocked it. I'm so proud of them and me.
Kids bombed that test.
Yeah, they did really good. I'm just gonna be like pulling some kids for small group, you know,
Yeah.
just make sure they got it.
That's a good idea.
That's good. That's so
It's so awkward.
But that is exactly what comparison sounds like, though. It's awkward.
It is
and
awkward.
uncomfortable.
And it's everywhere in our world though. It's almost like it's a disease.
I mean, we could really call it the comparison disease.
I think we got a new episode.
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Sarah McCarthy.
And I'm Sally Shaw.
And welcome to Practically Positive Teaching. In the last episode, episode 5, we discussed the importance of being intentional about making deposits into different areas of your life in order to live a more balanced life.
Now I think it's time to move on to episode 6, which is called The Comparison Disease. So I have to be real for a second.
Be real.
I will.
Do it.
There have been so many times where I have found myself wanting to pack up my classroom in the middle of the year because I had absolutely convinced myself that I wasn't a good enough teacher and that I did not have the skills great enough to make a difference. Why? Because I was constantly comparing myself to other people. And it wasn't until one day I actually had a student bring me a note that actually thanked me for seeing him. Wow. A kid thanked me for that.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And that's when I realized that it's not necessarily about having the cutest classroom or the best lesson plan. It's because we take time to see them, sometimes for the first time. And it's almost like I was spending more time worrying about what everybody else was doing instead of realizing the simplicity and the importance of just making sure you see your students, you hug your students, and you make sure that they know that they belong.
I can totally relate to feeling like I was not a good enough teacher based on what I saw other teachers doing too. And comparisons, they don't begin and end in the classroom. They surround us all day, y'all, everywhere we go. When my friends are on Facebook and posting things like they've just purchased a new house or a car or they're traveling to some super cool place, while I've been happy for them, I've also let those negative comparison thoughts creep in that I wasn't good enough because here I am still driving around in my little white Mazda, living in a cozy house, and the only trip that I'm planning is a trip to the local park with my family.
It's almost like we're naturally programmed to compare, but not in a positive way. It's almost like we use comparing as a tool to put ourselves and others down.
In fact, when we were planning this episode, we came up with 5 types of comparers.
I actually don't even think that's a word.
We can look it up, but it is a word right now.
It is
so
now.
Let's do it.
The I'm not worthier. I'm not worthiers compare their efforts, abilities, talents, and possessions to other people and then put themselves down inside.
Doing this over and over creates a habit where they feel unworthy and rob themselves of the joy they deserve.
The put downer.
Put downers compare themselves to others and take on the role of the victim, searching for reasons or usually excuses as to why someone else performs or acquires something they don't.
Your data looks better than mine because you have all the smart kids in your class. That's not even fair.
Put downers handle these comparisons by putting down the person they are comparing, trying to make them feel low for what they're doing.
The one-upper.
One-uppers compare themselves to others by trying to outdo what someone else says or does.
So clearly you have all of the smart kids in your class. That's why your data looks better than mine.
Well, see, the thing is, my students have been working really hard as a team. We've been striving to meet goals.
My kids work hard too. We work for hours.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of kids in my class that don't speak English, and that's what holds them back. So that's my excuse.
I wouldn't say that's what holds them back, because my students, like half of my class, are language learners, and I have some strategies though that I can share with you that have been working.
I've literally done all of the strategies. I've done it all. So there's nothing that you can tell me that I have not done. So
okay, well that's great.
This was a super
to help.
beneficial conversation.
I'm glad that you think so.
The assumer.
Assuming is when you try to convince yourself that something is true without having full evidence or proof to back it up.
Assumers are literally at war with themselves in their head. They are constantly making up scenarios that to them seem super real, but in reality, they're not even taking place.
Personal insecurities can often be projected onto those around them, causing relationships to suffer.
The go-getter.
Go-getters compare themselves to others in a reflective way, observing that someone else has something that they really want.
Something that will help them grow and improve, and they go after it in a positive way.
You know what? Your kids made amazing learning gains. And to be honest with you, I know my kids can do that too. I need to just shut down the complaining. I need to stop making excuses. And actually, I just want to, could I pick your brain and see how I can get my kids to make those learning gains too? Because I think that would, they can do it. They can do it.
They can absolutely do it. I have some strategies that I've used. You want to go?
Yeah,
check it out?
let's do
All right,
it.
Let's do it.
All right.
The point is, growth is what's important. Celebrate that growth. Don't compare your class to someone else's. Now, you need to set your expectations high, but no matter what color your data sheet is, focus on what you need to do as a teacher to move your students and set them up for excellence.
Don't be afraid to ask for help or share ideas if you find a strategy that's really helping your class. Education is not a contest. We are in this profession to make a difference in the lives of kids.
We have the power to stop our negative comparisons and turn it into something positive. Here are some strategies that we can all use to cure the comparison disease.
Number 1, be reflective.
It's a really good B, Sally.
I'm glad that you got that.
First, you have to catch yourself. There is power in awareness. You need to recognize when you are comparing and analyze your feelings, thoughts, and actions.
Go ahead and brain dump all of the thoughts swimming around your head and ask yourself, am I constructively thinking or destructively overanalyzing?
How are you interpreting the comments of others? Are you making it seem more negative or personal than it actually is?
When you have these negative, competitive thoughts, it is very difficult for positive relationships to exist.
Preach. People are spending way too much time talking about what other people are doing and not enough time focusing on what actually needs to get done.
Stop letting other people's hard work intimidate you. Get yourself up and stop wallowing in the woes of, oh, they're just more talented than me. Because you know what? There may be someone more talented than you, but don't you dare let anyone work harder than you.
You need to stop holding back. Activate your drive and stop limiting yourself to the expectations of others. Decide what you want to do with your life and who you want to become, and then go after it.
Number 3, be Beyonce. That's not it.
No, but I mean, if you like it, maybe you should put a ring on it.
Don't put yourself down because your classroom doesn't look like the next person. Do you. Be yourself. That's what we tell our students, so we need to practice what we preach.
Comparing yourself to another is an insult to who you are. Your only competition should be that person staring at you in the mirror.
There are so many amazing teachers out there who haven't even begun to utilize their talents because they're too afraid that it's going to go against the norm or they won't be as good as someone else. But you know what? That's a shame because your passion or strategy or innovative lesson could be exactly what some student in your classroom needs.
And remember, when it comes to social media, you're only seeing the highlight reel. If it's bringing you down, you need to put it down. Seriously, put it down. And pick it up when you're ready to look at it with a positive mindset. When you're ready to look at it for new ideas to help you improve yourself as a teacher versus comparing yourself to somebody else.
Your teacher takeaway for today is
be reflective.
be driven
And
be you. Become a part of the Practically Positive Teaching community by subscribing to our YouTube channel or following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Practically Positive Teaching.
Where positivity is always part of the lesson plan. I looked at you weird.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining.
I was touching.
Thank you for
I
joining.
wasn't looking.
And in our schools. What's this?
I don't know. Do you? Why did I act like it was a grocery list?
Do you be?
It's the hip way.
Do you?
Do you, boo boo? You're so cool. Or just share. Sally shows, she shows. Okay, Sally, this is the last time you're saying this line.
She talks to herself all the time.
Yeah, so I need to be real for a second. You ready for my realness?
I'm ready.
I have to be real for a second. So I have to be real for a second.
I just went like,
So I need to be real for
we're never real. We're fakey fakes. Fakey fakes.
because I was constantly comparing myself. I touched my hair.
Hi, I'm Sarah
I
McCarthy.
was sorry. I was like,
Hi. No. Are you ready?
yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah. No,
I was
don't either.
still not ready.
Hi, I'm Sarah McCarthy.
I was looking